like
I'm a jumper too. I don't want to like just like wade in either. If I can't,
totally.
I got to be able to jump, be in.
Exactly.
Hazel, do you know the only way it happens is it's not about me. It's because I know that week or over that, coming that Monday, I'm going to be sitting next to somebody and I'm going to tell them, you got to do hard things. And it's my joy buy-in. I know I'm going to see you. And guess what? We keep it real. That's where we get our power from.
And I never want somebody to think that I'm asking them to do something that I'm not going to do. My biggest thing is I'm not a fucking hypocrite. I'm not. Right? I struggle, you struggle. I fall, you fall. Like I'll be honest, if I'm, things that I'm working on, I'm falling short on because I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to grow with you.
There's a fine line between a couple of these beliefs and behaviors, because you also don't put the pedal on the self put downs either anymore. Where before it was qualifiers, discounting, if then, maybe, could be. We don't make it characterological anymore.
Oh, that's good.
We don't make it about our character anymore. It just is a thing. Just as hard as it is for you listening, it is as hard for you and I to know on days that I do my best. Am I doing my best?
Yeah.
Can I have done more? Should I try harder? Sometimes we just don't know. We don't know. But if we're willing to get to a place that I will not tolerate not knowing anymore, and every single person that you and I will come in contact with has that wisdom in their bodies. How has your curse of an eating disorder become a place of honor and that has given you gifts that are powerful?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because it's different. It's different.
Yeah. And that eating disorder is so it's like my precious, it really is. It was like the thing that I used, the earliest thing that I used to help me feel better about myself. And I think somebody asked me at ArenaTallks, they were like, well, I struggle with an eating disorder, and what do you say when somebody's like, just eat a hamburger or just eat? And my response was to tell them, fuck you. Because the reality is that it's not about the food. It's not the food. It's the what I'm trying to fill with the food or lack thereof, right? It's this deeper hole. And at that time when I was 9 years old, I knew no other way to control how I felt about myself than to change the way that I looked. And to have that be something, I wasn't a bulimic. I was an anorexic. I'm going to be so fucking skinny that that'll impress you. I'm going to be so skinny, which in my mind I equate to attractive, that you'll respond to me, you'll give me attention, and then I don't have to try to find that validation within.
I'm pulling this question, and so if we don't know, then we don't know. In a 10 or 11 or 12-year-old, boy or girl, does that show up as just not finishing food, not wanting what is made, sneaking food later on? Do you remember how that showed up?
I mean, I don't know if there was I can't remember.
It wasn't conscious, obviously.
Yeah, and it wasn't today's the day. For me, though, it looked like, it's wrapped up in some issues.
At some point, there was the secrecy, and that you knew there was a thing.
Well, for me, it wasn't even the secrecy. It's wrapped up in some of my relationship with my mom.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of it. And it's wrapped up in there, and not feeling like she loved me, not feeling like I was lovable by her, that there was something wrong with me. And my mom is a healthy person, but my mom she's one of 4 sisters, and not all, obviously they don't all look alike. And she has 1 or 2 sisters that are really, really thin and really totally different body style. than my mom has. And I was born with that body style, not the one my mom had. And there was something in me that very consciously said, I don't want to be anything like my mom because I'm not getting what I need from her. I want nothing. I don't want to be like her. I don't want to look like her. I want to be the opposite. And so if my mom is like a more healthy, typical mom body, I was like...
So it was game over before it started.
Yeah.
You tell me to do that, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Do this, do that.
And it was like...
Were you your mom's mini-me?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was like the one that wasn't...
Were you her ugly mirror?
I don't know. What do you mean by that?
So it shows up in families and relationships, and I'm gonna real quick reference back the cold water you're doing, the cold swimming and how it was so powerful. Okay, spoiler alert, everyone. She didn't go back home and the house ran itself and the dishes were done and the kids were like, Mom, you do cold swim, so I'll do whatever you say.
Or now we have a job.
Yeah, or, a husband saying like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. Like, you're hot. Like, no. In fact, it probably got worse and thrashed. And just because you're doing good things doesn't mean good stuff has to happen right then. It will. It doesn't mean it has to happen right then or with the people in your life that are currently there in the way that they're there.
Right.
So spoiler alert, just because you're doing all the right things doesn't mean the right things have to happen.
Right. Or the right things you think.
And it perfectly said.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong either.
Yeah.
Tricky, right? Get a coach. That's why it's so important to have somebody else be there with you. Okay. I went there because in relationships, it is hard when you start changing, it's the pet peeves that you see in the other person that are yours. In Dr. Shefali's book, The Conscious Parent, guess what it's all about? The parent, not the kid.
Right.
If my kid is doing this, it's me. If my husband is doing this, in my case, my wife, it's me. So the ugly mirror is where they show back and reflect back to you your insecurities, your unmet desires, your limitation, the reason why you can't have what you want, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You see it at work a lot. People start putting down people because they probably like what they have or want to be like, whatever it is, right? And it's common to have a child there to teach the parent.
Yeah. In the work that I've done in coaching.
Because you got a lot of could you be less you?
Yeah, I was always that.
Growing up?
Yeah, less. In the coaching that I've done, I've looked back, in all the years of therapy about why my mom treated me the way she did and how that affected me, right? Like I thought I understood it.
And by the way, everyone listening, we're not talking about the person. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not to put somebody down, but when mother does this and we had this experience, we're talking about solving problems, period.
Right. And whether our parents did it on purpose, consciously, whatever, those have rippling effects on their kids. And I'm very aware that I am affecting my kids in ways that I don't know. And so I'm very aware that I don't know how I'm doing it. I just know that I am. And so I am by no means right now putting my mom down and thinking that I don't also do things that can be harmful and hurtful, right? So this is not about that for my mom. But my mom was raised by an alcoholic dad who told her terrible things about herself. He told her that she was a mistake one day on the way to school, dropped her off. She got out of the car. That was the last thing she heard. You were a mistake. She was made to feel...
Shame on him.
Yeah. She was made to feel unimportant. She was made to feel like something was wrong with her. And that was why she had a dad who drank and who was mean and, all these things. And so that was her reality. And then I come along and I am a lot and I am kind of the opposite of her in a lot of ways. And there was something in me that I now believe she saw that reminded her of that. And since as a kid, for her growing up, she didn't know how to express that anger or hurt or frustration, I became that person that she could express that anger and frustration and hurt. And that was a life-changing realization for me.
Well, and because you were street smart enough to know as a kid, too, that your sisters aren't getting treated this way. No. And so you're feeling isolated and singled out, and you probably were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean...
in those ways, anyway.
Absolutely. And I think I've protected my mom and not talked about that, because I love her. I love her. I do.
It's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
That if we don't ask people for, to make it right, we're keeping them from doing the work and getting their blessings from it.
Well, and the reality is that my mom, I don't think she's not in a place now, nor in my life that I've ever seen, that she can start to have some introspection.
Yeah.
She never has.
My dad's there too. He's not willing to go there.
Not ever.
My relationship's always been to a certain point, and right. I was so hurt for so long, thinking it was me. Yeah. No, there's only so far you can go right now, because
that's her.
Work, you can't do it.
And that's her protection.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
her protection mechanism, right? It's like, if I look too deep, am I going to find truth in what he did to me, how he treated me, right? And that's just what I'm guessing. But there's never been that introspection. And so I never will get what I need from her. But I tell this to clients too. I've learned I no longer go to her.
It's not out there.
I no longer go to her for that, expecting that. I just see it for the limitation it has, and I will now find that elsewhere. And I tried to find it elsewhere by looking so much different than her and, trying to spite her, and you are overweight and you're whatever. I want nothing to be like you, so watch what I can do, right? I used alcohol to numb this deeper pain.
Oh, there is a real mean side to you, isn't there?
Yeah, well,
or used to be anyway.
Yeah. I always tell for sure. And it's a protection, it is a defense mechanism.
For sure.
But it is, if you hit me and you hurt me, I will hit you fucking back. And by the way, I've never been in a fight. Not in that sense.
Why.
Not in that sense, but if you hurt me, I will hurt you so bad.
It's going to cost you.
Yeah.
I might not beat you, I might not win, but it's going to cost you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you hit me with a word, or you hit me with, acting in a certain way towards me that's trying to make me feel worse, watch out, because I will fucking double down and you will wish you never hit me in the first place. Right? I mean, that's I can say that now and I'm not I have all the shame. That was a defense mechanism, and I can still go there. I still have this gut response of, I'll come for you.
But what's so rad, as I'm watching you do that, what used to overtake and overpower, which is why it felt so good, is because it was so powerful, is now just a tool. It's just, when I need to use this, I will use it, but I will assert, and the maturity and the health around who you are. And I'm a pit bull. So you know what I am. Respect me, I respect you. But if you want to go, it's going to be game on.
And I have to use that, responsibly, because I can also know your weakness.
We're all responsible
and I will go
for our
right
gifts
there.
and talents.
Yeah. And so I have to be careful. And it's interesting this is coming up right now, because just earlier today, this came up in a conversation that I had to have with somebody.
Oh, it did.
Right?
Right.
So I've been working with this gentleman about referring somebody to us. And
it was the classic talking down to you.
Right. Definitely talking down to me. And
woman, let me tell you how it is.
Yeah, I'm saying, I feel like you weren't completely honest with me, and, now there's a repercussion that I have to deal with. And he was like, there's no way that that's true. And I was like, well, actually there is. What you told me and what I'm being told by this other person are so far apart that clearly it's possible that this could be true. And he said to me, listen, hun, I am a trained therapist and I have all these credentials and this is what I know. So don't try to tell me it can't be this way.
Lowercase h, by the way.
Yeah. And it was like a slap in my face, and it was a heated discussion, and I didn't pause right there. I didn't pause right there and address it because a lot of other things needed to be addressed. But
how dope is that you were able to prioritize and put it aside and not make just like, yep, but and in that case, it was the client who needed you.
Right.
So you were prioritizing
trying to show up
the
for
client
that. Absolutely.
First.
And,
yeah.
and I also didn't let it shame me. In the past, I would have been like, ooh, somebody put me in my place. I deserve to be put in my place. Or you're right, he is above me, I am below, and so he puts me in my place and I sit in shame about it, right?
Yeah.
So he said this to me yesterday, and I had this conversation with my husband today about it, and I was like, oh, I didn't tell you what this guy said to me. And I said, if I ever work with him again, I'm going to address it.
Today's the day.
And today was the day. I ended up on a phone call with him, with some other people.
Unexpectedly, by the way.
Yeah, totally unexpected. Ended up on the phone with him with a couple of other people. After we finished that business, I said, hey, can I talk with you privately? Get on the phone with him.
Everyone's listening. Pay attention. This is recovery right here.
I get on the phone with him and I said, I just want to address something that happened yesterday that is not going to happen again. When we were talking, you called me hun, and I'm not your hun. And it's unprofessional that you would talk to me like that, and it's not going to happen again. And he says, well, I didn't say that. I would never say that. That's not in my professional vernacular, is what he told me.
So here's the play-by-play. That's the unhealthy relationship trying to snatch you into the drama.
Right.
Totally duck that.
And keep me down.
Yep,
right?
totally.
Keep me down. And I said, no, it is actually exactly what you said. And you said it in response to me saying this, and then you said it, and then you went on to say all these other things, which I recounted to him.
By the way, she said it in the exact tone that you're hearing right now. So it's not that her emotional flooding has come down with the reptilian brain getting control of getting angry. You were actually in this exact same state when you were talking to him. Yeah,
which is huge growth because I don't know if about any of you, but when I get really emotional about something, I think my tendency in the past has been to cry, which always pisses me off, right?
You get angry with the wrong people.
Yeah, and then you're just like, fuck, now I look really weak as I'm trying to assert myself, and I hate that. And yeah, you and Ryan were in here as I was having that call, and I just said to him, I said, I'm not your hun. I'm not anybody's hun. And if we ever work together again, you're never going to talk to me like that again.
Boom.
And he was like, thank you for bringing that to my attention. And I know that he was taken aback and, whatever he was. I don't fucking care. But
how beautiful is that?
Yeah. I don't need him to, be put in his place or anything like that.
You don't need to agree so that you'll like me or what. None
right.
of that.
It wasn't okay, now I said that. Now are we okay? No, it was just and you're never going to talk to me like that again. And that was
boundary, boy.
Yeah. And, that was huge growth for me because in the past I would have taken that and I would have let it made me feel small and I would have let it made me feel ashamed that I took it and that somebody would think of me that way, right? I would have internalized that. And here it was no, this guy's a dick.
Yes, you and I, one of the things we like it when people like us.
Oh yeah, I want to be liked all the time.
Most people like us, so why don't you like me?
Yeah. And, this whole I'm stepping into these positions here at I Am Recovery that put me in a place where I have to have some really difficult conversations. Hazel 6 months ago wouldn't have felt confident to do this job, right? I was in a place where I just walked around feeling less than and needing all this outside validation. And the work that I've done in the coaching that has happened for me over the past few months, I went to that coach and said, I want to feel more confident. And that's my goal in the end of this. And lo and behold, we did nothing to address feeling more confident, right? It wasn't like, okay, this is the formula to feel more confident. You're going to say, I'm a confident person. I'm strong. I'm great.
What's amazing about it is you actually went and smashed an area of confidence.
Yeah.
And you and I have resonated over an axiom that we picked up from Jocko Willink, which is let it break you. And you'll find that it didn't break you.
Right. That broken moment is where I find out who I really am.
You put yourself back together the way you want yourself to be put back together.
Right. And you're right. I did do that this past year. I took this and I shared that at ArenaTallks, talking about breaking the scale, which it was like this altar that I would go to every morning to tell me my worth. And in wanting to find, how am I today? And like, if it told me
Mordor that you went to,
right, it's so true. And
the great all-seeing eye.
Yeah, what am I? Who am I? Am I good enough? And my coach said to me, "Yeah, please."
For being so real and sharing something so personal, so that we can all be better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. I was really nervous to share it because my fear was that it would make me appear weak, right? And like my go-to is like, I don't want to be weak. I want to show people that I've grown and I'm
millionaire Mason.
Yeah, totally. Like
boss babe.
Follow me. I know what I'm doing. And that's not the reality. I don't have it all together, but I'm trying to put it together. Does that make sense? Like I'm just trying to do the work. And so you're right. I did this thing where I destroyed this thing that I thought was giving me confidence.
You thought it was the tool. You didn't
Right.
realize that you were the tool. Yeah. It was using you.
Right.
You weren't using it.
Right. And so when my coach said, what if we smash that and get rid of it? And I said,
Did you hang up on him right then?
Yeah, no. I said, no,
Oh, hell
I don't need to do that. I don't need to do
Did you
it.
do crazy pills today? What the heck's wrong
I
with
would
you?
never do that. And then we start talking about what it does for me and what it's doing to me and why that's not serving me and why it's at the crux of all of this shame and yuck that I feel about myself. And I didn't think it was related. I didn't think it was related at all. And I just trusted him enough when he said.
And her inside.
Yeah,
She was there too.
saying,
She was guiding you.
You're right. I love that you say that because she does guide me. I love that. So he says it to me. I balk. I'm like, I'll just put it away. I'll just take the batteries out. I'll just do whatever I have to not actually address it.
He was hiding the alcohol bottles all again.
Yeah, exactly.
He was been sneaky with alcohol all over again.
All over again. And I just know that I came to him wanting to feel whole. I wanted to feel whole. And I didn't know how to do it, but I trusted that he did.
And you were willing to do whatever it took.
Right. And I was willing to do it. And we did it, and it was so fucking hard, and my life turned upside down for a little bit. Not for a little bit, for a couple of months.
Upside down is an understatement.
Yeah.
The Noah's flood came onto planet Hazel.
Yeah.
And killed everything.
It did. It hurt.
And she had a boat
Yeah.
with all the animals on the planet.
And what do you know? Like in the middle of that lake, in that boat, there he is, right? And he rebuilds and he restores and he changes. And I share that story because we all have something in our life that is trying to control us, that we allow to control us.
We all got candy. Guys.
And if I could say anything to the clients that are listening, it's more than your fucking drug of choice. It's more than that. Like if you're only seeing that and you see that as the problem, that's like me saying, I feel so unconfident in myself. I just want more confidence.
Write some affirmations in the mirror
Right.
and look at yourself and fake it till you make it.
Right.
Pray harder.
Then I would still be in the same position. And
Just
for me,
stop.
I wasn't going to turn another year older and feel the same way.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so when somebody else says, I think it's really this, let's get rid of that and see what happens. I said, okay. And it's funny, we've now kind of finished like one cycle of our work together, like 13 weeks, and I've committed to working with him for a year. And we finished that, and now we are starting the cycle all over again. And so he's like, what is it that you want to work on? And I tried to give him some fluffy bullshit thing of, I just want to work on my job of being, like leveraging my relationships in a way that helps the company and whatever. And that's what he said. And he's
I love your shit. Dude, this is so valuable. Thank you.
What do you really, like, why are you really here again? And we had just been reflecting on how much growth I had.
Yeah.
And
good. It's an essential practice.
And I said, I want to continue to work on my marriage. I want to continue to work on my family and my role as a mom and as a wife and how I see myself. And I told him, but I know that doing that could turn it all upside down again. And that was really fucking hard. And what if it turns it upside down in a way that I don't know how to put it back together? And
what if you don't want to put back together?
Yeah. Ooh. What if it just affects like every belief that I have about.
Because the relationship race that you and I are running is not till death do you part. It's beyond. So It's a different race.
Right. And so I said to him, he was like, well, if you really want to work on the work stuff, we can just work on the work stuff. He's like, I'm sure you'll grow and I think you'll have, it'll be great. And then if you want to just put the family stuff on the back burner, because I told him I don't want to deal with this over Christmas. That seems like a dangerous time for things to possibly turn completely upside down. Maybe I should just wait till after Christmas.
You were saying this or he was?
I said this to him and he was like, yeah, that's a good idea because it's not a good idea to work on our relationships when we're going to be with people the most. Because my mom and dad are also coming for Christmas. And I was like, yeah, I probably need to work on that relationship with my mom. But if she's here, I don't really want to be working on that.
Can we work on it when she's not here?
Crazy.
That would be great.
Yeah, seems better. And so he said, we can do this fluff and we can work on that and we can put this other stuff on the back burner.
And to put a little perspective on it, it's not always fluff. And sometimes we do need to go and
to a softer place.
We need to go play coach pitch or with the kids for a little bit.
Totally.
To just keep and recover till we've got a place, we've got the energy to go
Absolutely. And if I would have said that that's where I felt safe staying right now, he would have honored and respected that. And that's where we'd be.
And good stuff would have happened.
Absolutely. Yep. And, I'll probably come back and revisit that again. But for me right now, that's what I'm deciding to work on is all these relationships.
Yes.
And so part of the process that we do is what are the beliefs that you have around these things? And for me, there's just so much guilt around being a mom and being a wife and being a housekeeper, right?
Guilt.
Oh God.
Shame or guilt? Because guilt's healthy.
Then it's shame because I am a mom that doesn't make dinner really hardly ever. Like I just don't.
So you don't look like what somebody's version of what you think a mom's supposed to be like that you're measuring yourself against.
And this is so crazy that he said this. He said, what was your mom like? And I said, my mom worked full time.
Becky,
She was a teacher later in my life. She worked full time. And my mom had dinner every night, plus a cake throughout the week, right? Like some extra thing. And our house was spotless. And my mom never had a house cleaner and she didn't, she just did it all. And he said, isn't it interesting that you hold that as your standard and yet you really don't want to be anything like your mom?
You hated that she prioritized vacuuming over
God.
Being with you.
Specifically that.
I'm going to vacuum.
Specifically
Mom,
that.
I need you. I'm yanking on your dress. Mm-hmm. Nope, it's got to be clean, hon. Yep, you'll be fine. Okay.
Can't go anywhere. Can't do anything as a family until I vacuum and do this.
You never want to. You're take the messy kitchen any day if you're hanging with your kids.
Absolutely.
And yet here the standard you're holding over yourself is the impossible standard that your mom.
Absolutely.
With no connection.
And so that was just like, again, that's just in coaching session number 1 of part 2. And all this stuff is was coming out. And And so I'm realizing that what this next chapter of growth looks like is...
By the way, guys, the better you get at it, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
And
so now this next chapter is looking at, why do I have this shame? What are these stories that I tell myself of what a good mom is, what a good wife is, what a good housekeeper is? Because right now I live in a place of shame of, I don't make dinner for my family. I mean, rarely.
And what are you doing if there's a lie there, which there is, then there's something you're doing to keep it in place. So it's crazy. What are you doing to keep it in place?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. Maybe I don't do those things like I could. I work a lot, and this job is...
Do you think she talked down about women in the area, the neighborhood, who didn't keep a clean house?
She talks down to me to this day if I don't keep a clean house. She will be embarrassed for me about my laundry room. Like my laundry room, we do a lot of laundry.
Because any decent woman would be ashamed of this.
But we don't do a lot of folding of laundry all the time. So there's a lot of clean laundry in there in piles. And my mom in different houses that I've had has been like, every time she comes over, let me fold some laundry for you.
Do you have any memories of playing with your mom?
No.
To moms out there, clean houses are important. Order is important. Example is important. Doing what you need to do is important. Play is as essential as air, sleep, safety, and connection.
That's so true. And I have memories of my mom. Yeah. I have memories of my mom reading to me as a kid. And that's super sweet memories that I have. And I know that was a way for her to have some nurturing, but I never had...
That was teacher stuff. That was easy for her.
Yeah. I never had those talks on the way to school of how you're doing. I never had...
No Punky Brewster moments where I'll get dressed, no yes day moment type things where...
No.
I'll get down to your level.
Yeah. Let's do something fun. Let's be silly together.
Be silly.
Never. And so I try to... Sometimes I think I'm too much of a friend to my kids. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I am definitely a disciplinarian.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes they're like, I want to talk to Dad because you're too mean. Right. Oh. So it's not like I'm like this mom that's whatever goes as long as you think I'm fun. But
everybody gets an A.
Right. I definitely don't do that. But I want to be in their day-to-day life. Right. And so if that's
how do you be a productive and present parent today?
That's really fucking hard because I'm also working in a job that requires and asks so much of me at all different times of the day, right?
You're supposed to be at, and gives you gifts and talents.
Yeah. And so, and to be 100%, I feel super guilty about this. So my daughter is 10 years old and I work so hard on my relationship with her to have it be not what I had, right? I tell her all the time, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Look at your hair. Your hair is getting more beautiful. The color's changing. I love it. You're getting taller, you look so pretty today. And I say that all in a genuine way because she is so beautiful, but I never heard that. And so I just I'm so aware of that. And so I try so hard to make this relationship different. And yet almost every night she asks me to lay down with her and to cuddle her before she goes to bed. And I give her all these excuses as to why I can't do it.
And you're tired.
That's really what it is. I am tired. By the time my kids decide it's a good time to go to bed, well, we decide there's a good time to go to bed, but then there's a lot of by the time my kids get to bed, it's hell has broken loose and it's we're taking stuff away because it's now an hour into there's just a lot of messing around at the end of the night that
figuring out the nighttime routine is a tiger by the tail.
Holy shit, yeah.
And once you get it figured out, they're to a new stage and phase.
Yeah.
Man.
And so by the end of the day, right, and when they are finally getting ready to go to bed, sometimes that is the first time that I'm sitting down for the day. And this job and my life is very emotionally intense. And so sometimes I really need that shitty reality TV show to me up.
I see you. Thank you.
But that's so, like, think of that guilt that comes from, I would rather watch Real Housewives than lay in bed with you and rub your back. Right? That's not.
So here you are trying to avoid creating the problem.
Right.
And you're creating the exact problem.
I'm creating the problem.
We're the problem.
Yeah.
I know.
And so I am now in this new phase of my, well, I hope. I don't know if I feel that magical because I'm still in it.
Getting present to what you're feeling and then taking action that feels good and that is winning with a family and multiple needs. That's it.
Yeah. So I'm trying right now to figure out what are those beliefs and the stories that I tell myself of what a good mom needs to be. What is honoring my actual energy level and what more energy I have or have not to give at the end of the night.
Which is good to teach them too.
Right. What is, if I can't show up for her in that way, am I showing up for her in other ways?
What's behind underneath me telling myself that I need a show over, and you're a physical person. You love the touch.
Right.
What is, and it's not black and white, guys. I tell you that right now. And if you hadn't done all the work you've done, you wouldn't be able to get to here.
Right. Well, and it's interesting you say that. Like I think I am a physical touch person, but when I'm emotionally exhausted, I don't want to cuddle in bed. Yep. I don't want, even with my husband, and this is like the next phase, right? I put that need that I have. So like, I can't give anything because I've been giving so much today. I can't give, please don't ask, please don't come to me with that need, whether it's sex or just like just some other connection. Yeah.
And then everybody loses.
Everybody loses.
You can't please everybody. Everybody loses.
And so this next thing that I want to work on is how do I honor myself and how do I also honor his needs and what he needs, or in this case, my daughter and what she's asking for, right? Because there is a way that can all happen. I just don't know what it is yet, but we win together. And it doesn't have to be that I get what I need, which is like decompression and nothing asked of me in order to fill my tank. And you're now empty, husband, because I can't give to you. That's not winning. That's not a mutual relationship. And so
it's stable. Lots of our peers that's okay.
And that's how we've been for years, thinking we have a great marriage.
And sometimes
we're so great.
The season of life is that is 100%. What you need to do. Mm-hmm.
But it is no longer the status quo that I think either of us want to live
acceptable.
with. Yeah. And so I know this will be tricky because now it will be, how do we honor each person's needs?
Isn't it crazy how we even tell ourselves it's going to be tricky?
Yeah.
I like you. You like me? I like you too.
Right.
We like each other. Really?
Right.
That's tricky?
I know. But it comes down to like, what is my selfish need? What is your selfish need? Am I operating from a selfish need or am I operating from a place of honoring? And sometimes I just have to honor me and sometimes I need to be aware that I'm honoring you. You know, it's all connected. But that's this next chapter for me. And good thing I don't have any scales left to smash, but there will be something. Because for me, I need that thing. It's why I need the water, right? It's what you need when you go in the water. I need the actual action
have something in front of me that I'm growing into.
Yes.
I am Kauai Shay, but guess what? Kauai Shay doesn't serve me anymore because Kauai happened in April.
Right.
So then it was greater Kauai Shay. Okay, that worked.
Yeah.
But if I don't have that
next
who
thing,
am I becoming?
Then that all was for nothing. Don't you ever think that?
Well, I don't. What you're describing is I want that aliveness and that joy and that erotic energy. And eroticism isn't just sex. It's aliveness and your gifts, and you're the parent you want, and you have a house that feels good. It's the aliveness in your life.
Right.
And if it doesn't have that zing or that zest, now that you and I know what that is,
right.
Everything. Is the best.
Yeah, it has to be the standard, right?
And again, it's the finding is the seeking. So the real treasure and joy is becoming Kauai Shay, becoming Millionaire Mason. What is a couple now it's got 5, 10, 15, 20 years, in the can? How do we reinvent ourselves?
Yeah.
And not drag that through where all that stuff that comes up. What I can tell you, and you can tell anyone here, it's possible. It is the raddest, coolest, juiciest thing. And it's all based around recovery skills.
Right. Because recovery skills are life skills. You don't have to be in recovery to...
What, your dog's not going to die?
Yeah.
You're not going to fail an exam?
Yeah,
You're not going to get rejected from a college?
So I recently had an opportunity to speak at church, and I spoke about addiction, and the way that I ended that talk...
Way to be brave.
Yeah. It was impactful because that was, more than a month ago, and people still come up to me and say, thank you so much for being honest, and how that's helped them. But the way that I finished that
so
talk,
you keep it real with people outside of work as well as at work? Oh my gosh.
My thing is I'm the same person in every room of my life. But I lost what I was going to say.
So you're speaking at church.
Yeah. How I ended it. Mm-hmm. How I ended that talk was that we all struggle, and that there is a place for all of us. And in that setting, I was referring to church. There's a place for everybody in this church, no matter what your life looks like. If it looks like addiction, if it looks like struggle, if it looks like financial hardship, if it looks like whatever it looks like, there is a place for you here. And that translates to life. There is a place for you here, no matter what your life has looked like, no matter where it's gone, no matter what darkness you've seen and lived in, there is a place for you. And it is always there for you. You don't have to qualify for it. You don't have to prove that you deserve it. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be.
And someone out there listening, mom, son, person, kid, friend, we see you. We know you, and we're creating space right now for you because we do abundance. And if you want that, call Hazel. Call Ryan. Ask. Just ask what could be yours.
I agree. And, I love that you're saying that about the family. Like, anybody that wants more out of their life, I Am Recovery is not just for recovery. If you want a life coach and you want to grow.
A rad marriage.
Yeah.
You got everything you should have, but you're not feeling it.
Doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Let's coach.
Then let's coach. I think it's for everybody. All of our coaches are phenomenal. You're one of them. You're one that I love collaborating with on different clients. It makes me better. It makes the experience.
The energy we generate is rad.
It is awesome. And, and I've seen you help so many people that don't necessarily struggle with addiction, per se, but struggle with wanting more. And I've seen you help them.
Feeling whole, wanting to be themselves all the way, liking who they are.
All the way.
Willing to put in boundaries and ask for their spouse of whoever knows how long, I want you to step up. And I know what that means is this could be the end.
And I think you can do that because you are doing that in your life right now, And there's pain with all growth, and but there's also like this need to do it, this need to grow. So I just want to end maybe by asking you, like, what's the next thing? So you're no longer Kauai Shay. I've heard you refer to Morocco Shay.
Last week, I was supposed to be in Morocco.
Oh, really?
On a yoga adventure.
Oh, nice.
Part of the abundance that came my way was it was going to cost me half what it was supposed to be. And I just finished up yoga teacher training in September and I got invited to go.
Wow.
And it felt so good. And when I went to ask for it, I learned that why it was coming up is I'd had to learn to ask for it. It wasn't that...
The going?
It wasn't the going. And it was becoming that guy, knowing that I wouldn't be going, believing that it could happen some way, magically. And still leaning into that guy. Because who is that guy that would show up there? How did he attract that? Who can I give to? Who can I be there for? What am I here to learn? So right now it's Bali Shay, because that's what I'm looking towards next year is the place. My wife and I this year, we went and lived in Hawaii for a month.
Yeah.
We're already talking about Barcelona.
Really?
And just
love it.
Since we're becoming those, and it's never we have become. There's never strong. There's only stronger. Because going to Kauai is one thing. Now we know that, right? So to go back there would be, but to go to Barcelona.
Yeah, I love that.
That's different.
It has to be different.
It doesn't have to be, but it's the what you and your coach Chris, the one Avery, are doing at 90 days is you brought this area of your life to an 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is saying that 8 is now a 3.
Yeah.
So how do we get the 3 to an 8?
Right.
Okay. Here's what's going to happen. Option 2, go there with me, Hazel, for the next 4 weeks. I want to know if you'll be my accountability partner. Can I tell you what's coming up for me and my family?
I would love it.
You've shared so much, and it's been mirrored in my life. So understand that what she said and what she's experiencing is the same, a ton of the same work that I'm doing in my life. The way it's showing up is my kids want massages from me before they go to bed. And I see you. And it's okay for me to say no, but at the same time, would I try a little harder for somebody else? These are my VIP clients.
Right.
Can I give a little bit more? Can I show them that I'm choosing you over that? It's no different than going to the gym when you don't want to go to the gym.
Right.
And can I honor whatever I would do instead and say, yep, that sparked joy for me. I thank you. I'm so grateful for how I loves me. It's a millionaire matchmaker too on Bravo.
Right.
But if I want to become who I want to become, I don't get to keep what I want and ditch what I want.
Yeah.
It's all got to go. I got to become a new person. So how can I now switch that to sparking joy with when I'm really tired to go up and give my boys and my girl massages? Because I didn't get that. And I was creating the same relationship with my kids that my dad created with me that I was desperately trying to avoid.
Yeah, isn't that crazy how we do that?
And I was cruising to it. So from now, we're going to do a repeat podcast. It'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
But 2 or 3 or 4 times from now to the end of the year, we're going to follow up with each other. And anyone listening, I want to be there for my kids. This is what it is. This is what it looks like. Is these small, insignificant choices where touch is healing generational trauma, disconnection. And if it heals us and our kids, it heals back and those that come after us.
Absolutely.
Wow. Hazel, you are a giant of a person.
I will let that in today. And I know you say that because I just feel like we are in battle together, right? We are each fighting a fight, and there's just respect. There's respect for the battles I watch you go through, and I know that there's so much support and friendship and love. And I was saying to my husband the other day, like, what an amazing job I have. Like, I'm surrounded by people that are constantly trying to grow and be better.
We pass trying.
Yeah. We just are. We are growing and becoming better. And that's like a core value of everybody that works here. When I worked at the library at my kids' school, when I worked at Hobby Lobby for a little while, there was no, I was not surrounded by growth. I was not surrounded by people that wanted that for themselves, right? Not in a very focused, intentional way like we have here. And the people that I work with, you and others included, have become some of my very closest friends because we are in the fight together. And I'm so grateful for that.
And when she says you and other people, she is specifically including all y'all.
Absolutely.
Any and every client that comes through here is on the team.
Absolutely.
If you're here, you are on Team I Am Recovery, and my role isn't more important than yours. And I need you. I can't be me without you, and you can't be you without me. And if we choose to work together and figure some, just move in a good direction together for the time we have, rad shit happens. Abundance happens. Good stuff can't stay away.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you did that. Include, because it is I have so much respect for these clients because I'm watching them fight their battle every day.
Do you know how many adults are out there punking out because they can tell their friends, no, I got a car. My kids are teenagers, and no.
Right. That doesn't happen here.
And over the last year, you and I we don't have words to describe or explain or convey how big your life can get and how brilliant it can become in such a short amount of time if you're willing just to go. Wherever that inner wisdom says go. And oh my gosh.
It'll change everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
And it can happen way faster than you think it should or could or anything. And it feels so much better.
Yeah. Last thing is when Chris and I were talking at the beginning of our time together, I was like, I just want to feel more confident. And he was like, well, what if you felt 5% more confident, right? Because in my mind, I was like, I just want to feel 100% better about myself than I do right now. And he was like, what if you can feel 5% better?
Oh, hell no, I'm Hazel. I
have to beat all.
I'm so
and he
the
was
same
like,
way.
think about that though. 5% better you wouldn't know what to do with that, right? Because what you feel now, you think it has to be 100% to get better. You'll be surprised what 5% can look like.
That's the difference between a hedge fund manager making $100 billion a year or $100 million a year. Or your retirement over 20 years being $1 million or $10 million.
Interesting. And it's crazy because I was like, okay, well then I'd be great with that. You're right. Yeah, that's better. And the reality is that now at the end of that first chunk of time together, I couldn't even measure it.
Oh, it's 100%.
Yeah. And at the time, 100% seemed impossible.
Totally.
Right? And it probably was I didn't even know how to get it. And so that's the message that I think we want you guys to have as you're listening to this, is that even these small little changes
are the only ones that matter.
They're the only ones. And you will be surprised that if you can make them and keep at them, your life can be totally different in a way that you never imagined. And maybe it'll look so different. The people that you think are going to be in it won't be in it anymore. And you won't.
And we're not exempt from that, everyone.
No. And your life may turn upside down.
It has to.
And when it's done, it will be better. It is always better. It just may not be what you thought or what you think that looks like.
Let it in. Abundance. And you'll do less striving, less anxiety, less depression, less future tripping, less trying to look like something. You'll just be you. And it'll feel so good.
Yeah.
Abundance. That is a perfect way to end. Hazel, I don't have words. Thank you.
Thank you.
So great. Everyone, call Hazel. call in recovery, get her as a coach, find a team to work. If we fit, let's work together. You don't need to be on drugs. You don't need to be doing stuff. You want a better life? Call us up. Let's figure something out. Win together, buddy. Thank you.